Take a look at our points following today's race. Alain Prost will keep his lead over Ayrton Senna. Damon Hill moves from 4th to 3rd. Michael Schumacher, Ricardo Patrese, and Martin Brundle follow. Now the Constructors' Championship. Williams-Renault fattening their lead over McLaren Ford and Benetton Ford. A great battle for second place in the Constructors' Championships. The flags wave representing all of our leaders, and the national anthems will play. What a moment for Damon Hill, and for Ricardo Patrese, and for Gerhard Berger. I want to remind you, checkered flag highlighted coverage of the Grand Prix of Hungary is coming your way Monday, August 23rd, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Our next race will be one you will not want to miss. One of my favorite tracks in the world, Spa-Francorchamps, the Grand Prix of Belgium, Sunday, August 29th, live, 7:50 a.m. Eastern Time, 4:50 a.m. Pacific. Derek Daly, any final thoughts on today's race?
Well, Frank Williams, I think, will also be delighted for what happened Damon Hill here. Everybody in England in particular will say it had to happen, and Damon Hill said, I'll just continue to do a good job, and it will happen.
Congratulations to Damon Hill. Be sure to join us for the Grand Prix of Belgium from Spa in 2 weeks' time. I'm Bob Varsha for Derek Daly. Thank you for being with us. So long, everyone.
Brave athletes challenge the notion that Kellogg's Frosted Flakes are just for kids.
I play for the Mariners, but deep down, I'm a Tiger fan.
Oh, go on. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
Hey, if you thought a dollar didn't go far these days, check out the huge Ace Dollar Day sale.
Blue and gloves.
Bags.
And bulbs.
Cords and coffee filters.
And more for just $1
each.
It goes to show you, Ace is America's place for better value. Hey, there's still more room back there.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Ford Motor Company, by Pep Boys. For quality parts, accessories, and service, come to Pep Boys, America's automotive supercenter. And by Kellogg's, the best to you each morning.
At the PGA, the leaders don't tee off for a couple of hours. Norman paired with Hale Irvin, they'll tee off at 2:25. In fact, no one starting the 4th round within 5 strokes of the lead has teed off, but Andrew McGee and Mark Calcavecchia have the best rounds of the day so far. They have shot 68. A complete report and highlights on SportsCenter at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. That'll do it for us. The champion Sparkplug 400 is next. So long.
Here in the Irish Hills outside Detroit, one driver hopes the luck of the Irish will follow him through today's race. It's been a tough year for Mark Martin. If he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. The car has run well at most races, but he's seen his chances for victory end, in some cases, before they begin. At other times, he's seen his chance of winning go up in smoke, and even roll away in the pit area. When he was here at Michigan in June, luck was nowhere to be found. The problem in that case was fuel mileage. It denied him a dominating victory. Last week at Watkins Glen, he had by far the fastest car, but his bad luck this time came in the pit area on 2 different occasions. The break came when leader Kyle Petty and second place Dale Earnhardt crashed, resulting in Martin's first victory of 1993. Today, Martin has brought to these Irish Hills all kinds of lucky charms, hoping they'll carry him on his winning ways. Even crew chief Steve Meal has a 4-leaf clover as Martin hopes to have another dominant day at Michigan International Speedway. ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you live to Michigan International Speedway and the Champion Spark Plug 400. Hot, hazy, and humid are the weather words for today. We have a temperature that's in the mid-80s, and there is a 40% chance of rain later this afternoon. The point standings. Dale Jarrett, 281 behind the points leader, Dale Earnhardt. Mark Martin has moved to 4th in the point standings, but he's only 103 out of 2nd place. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins, and welcome to Michigan International. Mark Martin is without question the hottest driver going right now. He won last weekend at Watkins Glen, and he won yesterday's Busch Grand National race here. In the last 5 races, he's moved up 8 positions in the point standings and gained 55 points on Dale Earnhardt. Now, while Mark is moving in on the points leader, others are moving in on their first win. And Ned and Benny, that's going to be reflected in a few minutes in the starting lineup for today.
Bob, in qualifying on Friday afternoon, 12 cars broke the existing track record. And Ned, in looking at the starting lineup, we don't have to go too far to try to find someone who needs a victory.
No, the man on the pole, Ken Schrader, has 5 poles this year, but no victories. And you know how badly he wants to win, and he's certainly capable. And on the outside pole, Lake Speed has put the Robert Yates Ford there. Only his 2nd race in that car, but it is a proven winner on this racetrack. And I think Lake Speed just might be the guy that can put it back in victory lane.
And let's go back to row 3. Todd Bodine and Ted Musgrave, a couple of guys who run well, but you wouldn't think would be in the 3rd row.
Well, Ted Musgrave has always run well on this racetrack. He just announced this week that he'll have a new ride in 1994 driving for Jack Roush. And he might just win his first race ever here. And Benny, there are 4 former Daytona 500 winners starting in the 2nd half of the field. Wonder what we can expect seeing those guys come up through the field.
And some of the guys that broke track records were rookies. Here's Jerry Punch with them.
Guys, not since 1979 has the Max Race Car Rookie Battle seen this much talent come in the circuit in 1 year. Remember 79? Dale Earnhardt, Harry Gant, and Terry Labonte. Earnhardt won out, but it was an awfully close battle. This year, 3 very dynamic rookies, all 3 qualifying up front, 5th, 6th, 7th row. Back in row 7, we have Kenny Wallace, the Dirt Devil Pontiac, coming off his best finish at 9th at Watkins Glen. Row 6, right behind me, the Maxwell House Ford, Bobby Labonte, former Busch Series champion. His best finish ever, 7th at Watkins Glen. But remember Talladega, he started 41st, shotgun on the field, came all the way to 2nd place on the white flag and ran out of gas. But he's coming in a hurry, thanks to Tim Brewer and the crew. And what about row 5? Jeff Gordon, the DuPont Chevrolet driver. Remember what he did in Daytona? Won the qualifier, finished 5th in the 500, and he finished 2nd here back in June to this car. Possibly a rookie could win it here today. And Jeff Gordon has a good shot. Why are these rookies so comfortable? For more, here's John Kernan.
Jerry, I guess you could say everybody's a little more comfortable because Goodyear has brought a really great tire for this racetrack. In fact, it's the same one they ran at Dover earlier this year. A little bit softer on the right side, so they're a lot faster. Also, more efficient use of the contact patch. And the tires wear great. Everybody expects them to be very, very consistent today. In fact, Bob, the only problem a lot of the crew chiefs have thought about today is that they're turning the engine so hard because of the increased speeds that we could see some motor problems.
Well, those increased speeds have led to an unbelievable statistic. All 40 qualifiers today were faster than the pole speed turned in the race here in June. ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Champion Spark Plugs. No matter what you drive, Champion has quality from the start. By Valvoline, people who know use Valvoline. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Spark plug in NASCAR history. Champion. Performance you can count on.
Welcome back to ESPN Speed World coverage of the Champion Spark Plug 400 from Michigan International. Let's take a look now at the starting lineup. The pole sitter is in the Kodiak Chevrolet. Ken Schrader from Fenton, Missouri, qualifying at 180.750. He'll drive car 25. Lake Speed is outside the front row in the Texaco Haviland Ford. He's from Jackson, Mississippi. Ricky Rudd will start third. He's from Chesapeake, Virginia, and will drive the number 5 Tide Chevrolet. Outside the second row is Morgan Shepherd from Conover, North Carolina, in the number 21 Citgo Ford. The third row, Franklin, Wisconsin's Ted Musgrave in the Jasper Engines US Air Ford, car number 55. And then Todd Bodine in the Factory Stores Ford number 75. Todd hails from Chemung, New York. Starting in 7th position will be Dale Earnhardt in the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet, car number 3. And then Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia in the number 11 Budweiser Amoco Ford. The 5th row, Jeff Gordon from Pittsboro, Indiana, drives the DuPont Chevrolet, car number 24. And then from St. Louis, Missouri, Rusty Wallace in the Miller Genuine Pontiac, number 2. The 11th starting spot goes to Bobby Labonte in the Maxwell House Ford, number 22. And then Mark Martin from Batesville, Arkansas in the number 6 Valvoline Ford. Rest of the starting lineup in row number 7, it's Greg Sachs and Kenny Wallace. Jimmy Hensley and Rick Mast go from positions in the 8th row. Derek Cope and Bobby Hillin in row 9. Brett Bodine and Harry Gant back in the 10th row. And now we begin the second day qualifiers, or at least those who qualified and stood on their time. Joe Nemechek was the fastest second day qualifier. Also, Ernie Irvin is back in the second half of the field, and as Ned indicated, 4 former Daytona 500 winners are starting in the second half of the field. 41 cars here today, and as you will see in just a few moments, the provisional starter was Terry Labonte, who crashed his car during a qualification attempt, and his speed yesterday during second day qualifying was not good enough to get into the field. Well, our in-car cameras today are being carried by, among others, Jeff Bodine in the Motorcraft Ford. And Benny, let's see if we can raise Jeff here.
Hi, Jeff Bodine. This is Benny Parsons up at ESPN. You hear me?
Yeah, Benny, I hear you.
Hey, buddy, I see you're dropping back. What's the problem?
Well, we're going to come in here and make a little pit stop, top out with fuel before this race. But the real problem is I missed my driver's introduction out at the start-finish line. I was had a little stomach virus this morning in a restroom taking care of that, and I missed it by about 10 drivers. So here I come in the pits. I'm going to have to start last, so we figured, well, what the heck, let's just fill it up with fuel.
You mean the penalty for missing introduction is you have to start at the rear of the field?
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop here and let these boys put a little fuel in me and check it out. Maybe we can outgas him here, outlast him with fuel.
Well, you know, fuel mileage has always been a factor here at Michigan. Maybe that one lap will help.
Well, we're going to try. Of course, this opportunity, I always need to take time to say hi to Kathy and Matthew back home. I love them. Let's hope this is a good race for us.
Well, good luck to you, buddy.
Thanks, Benny.
Jeff Bodine and Darrell Waltrip will drop to the rear of the field because they missed the driver introductions. There is Morgan Shepherd. As you can see, he's lined up in the second row. Just ahead of him is Lake Speed, and the pole sitter, Kenny Schrader, is to his left up front. And our third in-car camera will be carried by Bobby Hillin, driving the High Lake Myers Ford. And now let's take a look at our Busch track description as we get set to take the green flag. This is a 2-mile D-shaped tri-oval, and the speed was 180.750. The pole speed 39.834 seconds, and this is now the third fastest track on the series, next to Daytona and Talladega. There you can see it is a D-shaped tri-oval here at Michigan International with some pretty good banking on the turns. Out in turns number 1 and 2, the banking is at 18 degrees.
And a fairly easy corner to negotiate because of the tri-oval being turned the way it does. It gets you in turn 1 really well. Backstretch 2,200 feet. Turn 3, very difficult this racetrack because you go in so you have to make the car turn such a sharp angle, and here they come, Bob.
Off of turn number 4, the green awaits and is flying, and here we go with the Champion Spark Plug 400. Welcome to our live coverage here this afternoon. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. down to the bottom of the racetrack. Now he's going to fall in behind Ted Musgrave as they get into single file formation, except up front where Ricky Rudd challenges his Hendrick teammate Ken Schrader for the lead, but Schrader holds him off leg speed, running third. Then comes Shepard and Earnhardt.
Earnhardt has moved up. There we see that's the Combo 9 car tipped over side by side. Mark Martin winner last weekend when the car was so dominant here in June. Combo 9 gets up in the Houston thing.
Yeah, he got very high going into that turn. He backed off, got the car back under control. A couple of cars went by, and here's Rudd going for the lead.
Oh, he went way down to the white line using every inch of racetrack, but it worked. Ricky Rudd takes command from Ken Schrader. Battle back for fourth position now as Earnhardt. We see him pass Morris up in turn 2. Car into the wall.
Is that Todd Bodine?
I believe it is, and he stays very high. Now he comes back down, but it looks like everyone is going to get by him. A miracle, really, as far up in the pack as he was, that everybody was able to get by. So Todd Bodine and the Factory Stores of America Ford, a little damage on the rear there. You can see that left rear quarter panel hanging down.
The car spun and slid about halfway down the banking, but fortunately those behind him missed him. Some went high, some went low, but everything is okay as the caution comes out for the first time, and Todd Bodine is the reason for our first yellow.
You can see him there. The car just looked like it gets loose, Bob, and spins around to the high side of the racetrack. Fortunately, it stays up there for a pretty good little bit, then comes back down, but still room enough as wide as this track is for others to get by.
And that's one of the nice things about this track here at Michigan. It is nice and wide, which allows for 4 and 5 abreast racing, and it also allows a lot of running room when there is trouble ahead of you. We'll be right back.
Valvoline Motor Oil for their race cars and their own cars. Valvoline is the #1 choice of race mechanics from Indy 500 to Daytona 500 to NHRA to Baja to SCCA.
Where you see a close encounter, Ford sees a way to make braking safer for you. Where you see a crowded corner, Ford sees ways to make cornering more secure. It's why we race. Every time you see Ford take home another trophy, Ford has seen ways to win something far more important: every driver's confidence. Have you driven a Ford lately?
The best defense is not to offend. Thus, introducing the new Right Guard Sports Stick. Now with a time-release formula for longer-lasting protection against hostile odor all day. For protection that endures.
There we were, a jillion miles outside of the hood. The bus got a flat, got no jack. Homie's gotta cut his grass. What's up?
4.5. EV 4.5 here down for the $6 sold.
The man's round sells, but he's got no beat. Pardon me.
That was death.
Yo, MC Cow Seller. Fresh.
Under our first caution of the race here at Michigan International Speedway, a spin by Todd Bodine, and Jeff Bodine has come in for another pit stop. And again, we point out that this has been, in the last couple of races, a fuel mileage race, and so Jeff is taking advantage of every opportunity to come in and top off.
He had passed, what, Ned, 5 or 6 cars since the start of the race?
Yeah.
And he felt like he could pass those cars again, so why not stop, get the extra fuel, the gallon or 2 of gas he might need.
And the Todd Bodine car is on pit road. Jerry, here's an update.
Bob Todd brought the Factory Stores Ford down pit road. Butch Mock Enterprises crew working on it. They had a flat right front tire. I'm not sure whether the tire went down prior to the spin. They really don't know themselves. The tire, apparently, the car went over the corner and just lurched, and Todd spun it and tried to keep it from damaging too much to the car. They're changing now left side tires. They've already changed the right side tires. They'll be able to get Todd back out, but the right front tire was down on the inner liner when he came down pit road.
And Jerry's going to go down a lap here as the field comes off of turn 4 to get the green flag.
Yeah, the pace car is moving in. The field is coming down, and Bodine is not going to get out ahead of the pack as it comes down and takes the green flag, and we resume our competition. Ricky Rudd, who won here in June, continues to lead, but now Ken Schrader challenges once again on the inside as there's a side-by-side battle for third. Lake Speed is on the inside and Dale Earnhardt on the outside. Down the backstretch is Morgan Shepherd watches from fifth.
Lake Speed's trying to figure out who's going to make the pass. He wants to follow them. And it looks like Schrader's the guy that's hung down on the inside.
He and Earnhardt almost got together. And, yeah, I think that inside position right now is not the place to be, Ben, because they're hooked up in a draft on the high side, had momentum coming off the turn. They're going to drive right on by Schrader. He'll be fourth going into turn one.
It's not as much as a factor here as it is at Daytona or Talladega, but drafting is definitely a factor. And there is Bill Elliott and Rusty Wallace. Not too far behind is Bobby Labonte. They're in car number 22. That's 8th, 9th, and 10th as Labonte takes a look to the inside of Rusty Wallace.
Well, pulls out and makes the pass look easy. Now Rusty will come back up on the outside.
Now he's got Greg Sachs. Rusty has Greg Sachs right behind him, the country time car. And like Ned, we talked about on the last lap, that draft on the outside, they go by that car on the inside.
22 car, though, of the Labonte able to get back up in line. First 7 cars have kind of broken away from the others. And Rudd stretches it out now just a little bit over Dale Earnhardt, who has taken second position. And here is Jeff Gordon racing alongside Ernie Irvan.
I'll tell you what, Ernie Irvan is the guy on the move.
Yeah, he had a poor qualifying by his standards, at least here, starting in 24th position. But normally that Gordon McClure Kodak Film Chevrolet qualifies up towards the front. More on that. Let's go to the pits and John Kerner.
Just somewhat of a concern. The guys who are down here in the pits are watching very closely, Ernie. They had to change the motors earlier this morning when they fired it up when they were inspecting the car before going to the NASCAR inspection. When they were doing their checklist, something was wrong with the motor. They decided to change engines this morning. They're watching that. Ernie has also radioed in and told them that the car is just a little bit too tight. So look for them to make a chassis adjustment to loosen it up a little bit on the first round of pit stops.
Ernie Irvan is in 12th at the moment, trying to take 11th spot away from Bobby Labonte, and he just blew by him on the inside.
Tell you what the car looks like. He is absolutely flying. Might be the fastest car on the racetrack.
Mark Martin wants to move up a spot as he has pulled alongside Morgan Shepherd and Ted Musgrave.
Yeah, I think Mark Martin would challenge Ernie Irvan as far as the fastest car on the racetrack is concerned. Tough to pass on this racetrack when you get up towards the front. These cars are awfully fast, and you saw Martin had a problem down on the inside. But that car really was working good yesterday in practice.
Musgrave and Martin will be teammates next year for Jack Roush. Ted Musgrave has been confirmed as the replacement for Wally Dallenbach Jr. We look out the back of Morgan Shepherd's car to Musgrave.
He pulls up right on the back bumper, and Mark Martin must have got his car a little bit sideways as he came off the second corner because he lost several car lengths to Ted Musgrave. We see he's still trying to get those car lengths back.
By the way, Todd Bodine was in for another stop, but he's back out on the racetrack. As the lead continues to be held by Ricky Rudd, but now Lake Speed begins to pull up on Dale Earnhardt and challenge him for second.
Tell you what, Lake Speed started driving his car at Watkins Glen, did a great job, and so far this weekend, everything looks like it's just coming up roses for Lake Speed and Larry McReynolds, Robert Yates, and his crew.
Riding on top of Morgan Shepherd's car, and that's how far he is behind the lead group.
The leader, Ricky Rudd, the Tide Chevrolet, and here goes Lake Speed on the inside. Looks like he has the pass made. If he can come off, if Earnhardt will let him have the room. He did let him have the room.
And boy, you need all, when you're coming off that fast, you need all of that room out to the wall. But he had him clear. Drove right on around.
Earnhardt started 7th, moved to 4th quickly, and now finds himself in 3rd position. But Ricky Rudd is the man to beat right now. Here's Jerry Punch with more.
Guys, Ricky Rudd won this race back in June on fuel mileage. He told me he was at best a 3rd or 4th place car. No one could run with Mark Martin, including him. Now, back in June, they could run about 55 laps on fuel. That was their fuel mileage. But they gave up their advantage, so we're going to give up our fuel mileage, different carburetor, different intake, different heads for horsepower. Today we're not going to get nearly the fuel mileage, but we're going for horsepower. We're going to turn this thing so we can possibly run with Mark Martin. I believe they've done a pretty good job right now. It looks like they've won the battle.
Yeah, they're doing all right, but there's some good racing behind as there is the 8 car of Sterling Marlin.
He started 34th, is right now running 21st, and here's Mark Martin, Ted Musgrave, and Morgan Shepherd looking back at Mark Martin.
Battle among 3 Fords here. Musgrave is going to fall in behind Mark, it looks.
Yeah, he'll be his teammate next year. He said, let me see what gets him around this racetrack so fast. I'll follow him here for a little bit.
13 laps have been completed here. Ricky Rudd pulling out his advantage over leg speed as we continue to watch this battle. And there is the interval between that group of cars and the leader, Ricky Rudd. Back with more of our live coverage after this.
Fire from beneath the mountains gave the land its richness. And the land gave the richness to the coffee of Colombia. That's why Maxwell House uses more Colombian beans than anyone in America. Because better beans make better coffee. Maxwell House, the official coffee of NASCAR. Always good to the last drop.
You know, working at AutoZone is more than looking up parts or ringing up sales. Most of all, it's listening. Because my customers know more about their cars than I'll ever know. They know every rattle by heart. I mean, that car is their baby. So when they've got a problem they're going to fix for themselves, I'm going to do my best to help them get whatever they need, no matter what it takes. Because people like that, they don't deserve anything less than the best I can give them.
Win ESPN's NFL 12th Man Contest and you get to sit right here for all your favorite teams' away games. Great seats for you and 3 of your buddies. And the 12th man flies first class to all 8 away games, stays in team hotels, and gets $25,000. And this guy up here, he's the 57,460th man. He gets Ice Train. ESPN's NFL 12th Man Contest, sponsored by McDonald's and Lee Jeans. Enter to win. Call 1-900-2884-NFL. 95 cents per call, no phone call necessary. Enter now.
The Irish Hills of Southern Michigan and Michigan International Speedway is the venue for the 20th race of the Winston Cup season, the Champion Spark Plug 400. There is Ricky Rudd, who is making his 34th Michigan International start today. That makes him 3rd behind Dave Marcus and Darrell Waltrip in the active drivers. And Jeff Gordon is alongside Bill Elliott. And Elliott has been dropping back here from his starting position.
Yeah, he started in 8th. The caution is out right now, Bob, as Ricky Rudd comes back to the start-finish line. Perhaps debris on the track. Don't see a car or anything.
Don't see anything that would indicate a spin or a crash of any type, so we presume that it's either debris or some type of oil on the racetrack.
That's what one of our spotters is telling us, that debris on the racetrack has caused the caution flag, debris in turn 3. So now are they going to pit? They've run 17 laps.
I think it'll depend a great deal on what Ricky Rudd does. And I would wager, you know, a handkerchief or something that they might would
Not very much, huh?
No, not too much. One that I'm not going to use hopefully today.
They've run 35 miles. You'd think they would stop and get some gasoline.
I believe they will. I believe they will.
Well, we mentioned the fact that Bill Elliott was dropping back, at least from his starting position. Jerry, you been able to find out what might be the problem there?
Indeed, Bob. Just spoke with Mike Beam. What a break for Elliott. They were going to have to pit the next time out. They have a tire going down on the Budweiser Ford, so this caution was certainly a big break for them. They would have lost a lap under green, and now they get to make their pit stop along with everyone else that's going to be coming in momentarily for the first caution flag stop of the day.
Big break for Bill Elliott. Now, as they come down pit road, the speed limit will be 65 miles per hour.
And Jeff Bodine might stay on the racetrack because he has a 4-lap cushion. He has only run about 14, 15 laps, so he might stay out. Let's see what he's going to do. As everyone, look at this, everyone follows Ricky Rudd down pit road. And Jeff Bodine, I see him back there, he came down as well. Jerry Punch, here we go.
And the Hendrick Motorsports teams hitting 5 on top, 28 in the middle, and 3 on the bottom. That is 2 Chevrolets and a Ford. 5 on top of your screen. That's Ricky Rudd. Right side tires already on. Left side's on for Dale. Now right side's going on for. They went left side's first, and then right side's on Earnhardt. 28 cars already out. That's Lake Speed, the Haviland crew. You're watching 3 pit stops. Split screen has Earnhardt and Rudd. Now head down pit road. You're watching 3 of the top contenders pitting simultaneously here on the first caution flag stop of the day. They head back for turn 1.
Well, instead of keeping track of 2 cars now, we're keeping track of 3 on the same screen. That's pretty neat.
I tell you what, is that a tire in the middle of pit road?
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Dale Jarrett nearly hit it. I don't think he did, but now it has been retrieved by one of the crewmen, so everything is okay on pit road. And the field lines up now for a restart, and it would appear as if Lake Speed will be the leader, and this is the first time that Lake Speed has led a race since February of 1990 at the Daytona 500, 47 races ago. Well, they're going to assess a stop-and-go penalty to Morgan Shepherd, who ran over an air hose, so he'll be coming in for a quick stop. We're going to take another break. Under caution back at Michigan International Speedway in a moment.
It went from 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. But that's nothing compared to how fast it'll go in the next 30 minutes. That's right, for the next half hour only, when you call Classic Motor Carriages at 1-800-CLASSIC, you can build this sleek, sexy component Cobra and save $1,000. $1,000 off one of the hottest cars on the road. Better step on it. Call now.
To help manage your money more wisely today, get the Wall Street Journal Guide to Understanding Personal Finance. The guide is filled with information you need to know before you buy a home, plan your retirement, or start saving for your child's college years. Subscribe now to the Wall Street Journal. Take advantage of this introductory offer. Get 10 weeks of the Journal for just $36 and your free copy of the Guide to Personal Finance. Call 800-423-1300. That's 800-423-1300.
The boys and their toys are ready to make some noise. The lightning speed of Saturday Night Thunder will make you dizzy. Live USAC Midgets and Sprints Saturday on ESPN.
Lining up for a restart. They'll get the green this time around. Here's a pit stop summary. Ricky Rudd was the leader, but has come out in 7th position. Lake Speed before the pit stop was 2nd. He's now going to be the leader. Earnhardt from 3rd to 9th. Ken Schrader from 4th to 17th, and Mark Martin from 5th position to 8th. Now, why did Lake Speed have such a good pit stop, John?
Well, Bob, it was 11.9 seconds, right side tires only. The car was running just a little bit tight. Larry McReynolds said they hadn't really seen picking up that much whenever they put on 4 tires versus just putting on 2 tires. He said it could turn out to bite them, but they figured track position was so important, they wanted to get Lake out front.
And he is, as the green waves, and again, this is the first time since 1990 he's led a lap.
And Bob, it was car number 41, Phil Parsons, that was assessed the stop-and-go penalty for running over the air hose. So Phil did come in the Manheim Auto Chevrolet, and he's at the rear of the field, but he did take his penalty.
We heard it was 21 Morgan Shepherd. It was not. It was 41 Phil Parsons.
Phil was running very good, too. He was running back in about 20th position for that pit stop, but was hanging right in fact, moving up some.
Well, what Rudd lost in the pit area, he's trying to make up on the racetrack. Here comes Mark Martin right behind him, and up front, it is Ernie Irvan who slides ahead of Lake Speed and takes over the lead as Jeff Gordon and Greg Sachs battle for 3rd.
There's Ted Musgrave way in the back. Lost several positions on that pit stop. Now looks like Jeff Gordon's hung on the inside.
It was interesting that some teams chose to change 2 tires while others took on 4. So we got some new faces up near the crowd.
Ernie Irvan also took 2 tires on his stop. That's the reason that he got out so fast and is now in the lead. Jeff Gordon got passed by several cars as he got hung on the inside, but now he falls back in line as Rudd battles alongside the 68 car, and here comes Mark Martin racing alongside Rusty Wallace, and there's Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon also.
Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt.
You said Dale Jarrett.
Sorry.
Earnhardt.
Yes, it is.
Well, Dale Jarrett, appreciate that. But he's not that far. He's not quite that far up right now. He's back probably about 22nd position right now.
Now we see Martin trying to get by Sachs. What passing is hard to do. I can see why they just changed 2 tires. Larry McReynolds and the crew just changed 2, going for that track position, because we can see just how difficult it is to pass. Martin trying to get by Sachs, can't make the pass.
Good shot from the roof cam on Morgan Shepherd's car. Jeff Gordon is ahead, and Rusty Wallace is beside or behind.
And we can see that Martin had to fall back behind Greg Sachs, not able to make that pass. There he is again. And once again, can't make the pass, and Earnhardt gets by him on the outside. Now let's see if Earnhardt can pass Sachs.
Now Earnhardt took on 4 tires, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And that might be making a difference here. He has passed several cars, just driven right on under Rusty Wallace and Gordon and several of them. So he's moving right along. That 4-tire change line has helped him.
Sterling Marlin has had a good 24 laps.
Musgrave going by Sterling Marlin. Yes, it was. They're alongside now.
He started way back in 34th position.
He was up to about 20th, but Michael Walter, Pennzoil Pontiac, back behind these two. There's Hutch Strickland, McDonald's Ford.
There you can see how Marlin started 34th.
And here's a race for the lead.
They get side by side.
Lake had to back out.
Wow.
I mean, he had to back out big time, and Ernie did too. Ricky Rudd just went by both of them.
Boy, I thought we had a major crash on our hands there, but both of them knew that they were out of shape and out of line, and so both of them backed off. It's resulted in Ricky Rudd taking the lead, and now here comes Earnhardt to challenge speed for 3rd.
Takes you a lap or 2 to get your bearings back and get your rhythm going again after you go through a situation like that. And said, hey, settle down here a little bit. Let's don't do nothing too foolish here this early in the race.
Take me a few laps to clean my pants.
And we can see that Mark Martins is trying to pass these guys down the straightaway. He's not able to make it. They keep going by him on the outside. Mark Martin, who was so dominant in June, here losing positions.
A lap ago in turn 2, here's what happened.
Lake Speed goes in the corner. Now he gets the car a little bit loose. He has to go up the hill to save it, but unfortunately, the 4 car is right there. And fortunately, Lake backed off the throttle.
And Ernie had to back off the throttle too, because Lake got into him a little bit there. I think they really traded a little bit of paint. But Earnhardt there now takes over the 3rd position from Lake Speed. Morgan Shepherd down on the inside trying to take a position away from Greg Sachs.
Sachs is hanging right in there, the country time car.
He sure is.
John Kernan has been keeping track of the good race that Sachs is having so far, John.
You know, Bob, a lot of the drivers have been complaining about their cars being tight. Sachs told me this morning that they had actually gotten the car loose yesterday afternoon in the final practice session. He said that made him very, very happy because you can always tighten the car up during the race. It's easier to tighten the car up than it is to loosen it up during the race. And Greg says that's the way he likes the race car. He was very confident that he would have a good run today.
Well, just as we do a little bit of bragging on him, he loses 1 position to Mark Martin, but no problem because he's still well up there in the top 10.
This is on top of Morgan Shepherd's car, the Citgo Ford.
Greg is 6th and Morgan is 7th.
Morgan trying to take a look on the inside as Mark Martin thought about looking on the inside of Lake Speed, but Morgan does. No, he falls back in line. Thought he was coming out there.
Ken Schrader, who is eligible for only $7,600 in Unical money because the big bonus was won last weekend at Watkins Glen by pole sitter Mark Martin. Now, once again, Morgan Shepherd and Greg Sachs are side by side, and Rusty is tucked right in on the back bumper of the Country Time Ford.
You know, we mentioned that Ken Schrader dropped back to 17th on that pit stop. He's back up now in the top 10, being shown in the 9th position. So he's made some pretty good moves here in these 5 or 6 laps since the car green came back out.
I see Schrader ducked back in, got in line behind Rusty Wallace. This looks like racing at Talladega Daytona, doesn't it, Dan? These guys drafting?
Yeah, as fast as they're going here now, the faster you go, the more effective the draft is. And certainly when the speeds escalated here this time because of those Goodyear tires, the drafting comes into play more now than ever before.
Well, they said that if you had a trap speed at the end of the backstretch, the cars do achieve or come very, very close to 200 miles an hour. 30 laps complete. Back after this.
What exactly is it that makes a Ford Escort GT so much fun? Well, let's start with its powerful 16-valve dual overhead cam engine. It's a blast. A scream. It really cuts. Then there's Escort GT's great looks. You know, the kind that'll turn more heads than a screwdriver. Speaking of turns, that's where Escort GT's nimble sport suspension comes in. We're talking road hugging. So ask yourself, isn't it time for a little fun? Yes! And have you driven a Ford lately?
You can feel it deep inside. Dedication and a real sense of pride. And you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud. Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your Proud to be bud.
Hey, use a spark plug that's tested to fire clean for 30,000 miles. Motorcraft. Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
Why use Valvoline Motor Oil? For their race cars and their own cars, Valvoline is the #1 choice of race mechanics from Indy 500 to Daytona 500 to NHRA to Baja to SCCA.
Here's the interval leaderboard. You can see that Ernie Irvan is a little over a second behind Ricky Rudd, the leader. Earnhardt about a second and a half. Lake Speed almost 2 seconds. And Mark Martin has moved to 5th. He's 2.3 seconds behind Ricky Rudd. And the best battle on the racetrack is between Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt.
This is for 3rd spot. And Mark Martin then is making a march towards the front now.
He really is. That car is handling like we've seen it do so many times, just sticking right down on the bottom of the racetrack. Benny moved around Earnhardt with ease there. Now he sets his sights on the car number 4, Ernie Irvan.
Car didn't seem to work that well on fresh tires when they changed tires. He was just another car, but as the tires get warm, start heating up, the car starts slowing down. He goes to the front.
While we watch this action on the track, we will tell you that Joe Nemechek has made numerous pit stops. They're having a problem with the steering of that car. He can only turn it so far and is having a great deal of difficulty. And so they're trying to get that car sorted out.
Well, you don't turn the steering wheel a lot on this racetrack, Bob, to make these wide sweeping turns. As we watch Mark Martin take measure on Ernie Irvan coming off of turn 2. But I don't think you want to be out there too long having to wrestle with that thing at the speeds they're running here.
I'd want it if I needed it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So Martin has moved to 2nd now. Irvan back to 3rd, and Dale Earnhardt is 4th. And it is a 1.7-second interval between the leader, Ricky Rudd, and 2nd place, Mark Martin. And Jerry, Mark Martin is once again showing a great deal of superiority here.
Well, he's awfully strong, Bob. I talked to Steve Mills. He said, we're not going to be as tough as we were back in June, but we're going to be awfully good. He said, you know, the good thing about our car is that we stay consistent on the tires longer than a lot of other people. Other people are slowing down according to the stopwatch, but Martin's times are about the same. So he is able to pass people. So everyone is slowing down, Steve Mills said, except the 5-car Rudd. He's going to be tough.
Rudd is tough. He is leading this race. This is only the 2nd event, however, of the 93 season that he has led more than 1 lap, and that race was here in June when he won. He led 19. Right now he has led 27 laps of the first 35.
Wow, look at the racing we've got going here. We've got Bodine, Elliott, Michael Walker, Ted Musgrave, Sterling Marlin,
Rick Mast.
Bobby Hill is in that bunch, I think.
Now we get to mention Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, Dale was back pretty far. He caught this group of cars, but I'll tell you, it's tough to pass, as we've already said. He's been on the inside of Rick Mast for a couple of laps now, but just has not been able to move on around.
to see Rick Mast back with no problems after his tremendous crash at Watkins Glen last weekend. Ooh, look at that car dance up ahead there.
Yeah. Rick was walking rather gingerly around the pits. He was sore. He was still sore on Friday. Of course, getting a workout in a race car is probably the best thing for him.
And turning his head very slowly.
Here's a Napa field summary. Watch for your favorite driver and where he was running just 1 lap ago.
As we watch this, Rick Mast said he tried one of those insurance collars, you know, one of those white collars you go around your neck, but he couldn't really drive the car that way, so he put a headrest up to hold his head against it. He's going to try that and see if that will suffice for his problems today, and his very, very sore neck.
38 cars are on the lead lap. Rich Bickle being shown out of competition. Now it's 3 wide coming off 4. Musgrave, Marlin, and Elliott, and they're 3 wide behind that group.
Now they're going to get 6 wide? No.
No.
Really not. Still 3 wide going into the turn.
That is unbelievable. They are 3 wide in the corner. Man, oh man. We saw Elliott's car wiggle a little bit from Bobby Hillen's car.
Well, it won't take but just a little bit of a slip by somebody, and that could be big trouble. Those guys are driving their heart out, every one of them. Oh, Bobby, don't drive up in the middle.
Oh, again, 3 wide coming through
right
the
up
corner.
in there, no problem.
And here's Michael Waltrip 4 abreast on the inside. Well, Bill Elliott backed off, so it's only 3 abreast.
Only 3 abreast.
Michael Waltrip said, that looked like fun. Let me in there. Then he found out when he got to turn 1, it wasn't that much fun.
Yeah. You can get a lot of momentum, especially when a couple of cars are running side by side in front of you. You can build it up and say, man, I got some horsepower all of a sudden, and take off. There's some horsepower, too.
Now only an 0.8 of a second interval between Ricky Rudd, the leader, and Mark Martin in second. And these 2 cars were the stars of the race here in June. Rudd won, but only because Mark Martin, who had the fastest car all day, did not go to the finish on fuel and had to make a pit stop.
And we can see that Mark Martin slowly gaining on that tied Chevrolet. So we are definitely going to have us a race for the lead in just a moment.
And back for 3rd position, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th are pretty close together as Lake Speed and Ernie Irvin side by side into turn 3.
Just looking back at Morgan Shepherd's car, back at Ernie Irvin. We can see that how rough the racetrack is, or how the bumps are shaking the camera. And folks, that's not your eyeballs, that's the camera.
With as much freezing and thawing as there is up here in the winter time, you would think this track would be really rough, but Roger Penske, of course, keeps it in fine shape.
And Jerry Punch, is Ricky Rudd having a problem of some kind?
Many there have been reports of possibly some fluid leaking out of the car. I know a NASCAR official came over to speak to you, Gary. Is there a problem with the car?
Well, not that we know of right now. We asked Ricky to check the gauges and all. He said everything looks normal. I don't know what it could be at this point.
So the crew's still trying to figure it out. Gary Dehart and the rest of the Tide crew, they would surmise that it might be an overheating problem. There may be some water coming out of the overflow. So they're going to keep a close eye on the car number 5.
Well, those 2 cars have checked out on everybody else. And now Irvin tries to move up another spot, going to the inside of Morgan Shepherd.
Morgan tried to pass Dale Earnhardt down in turns 1 and 2. Had to back up off the throttle just a little bit, which allowed Ernie Irvin to pull alongside of him.
And Morgan Shepherd, who started this race in 4th position, is hanging right in there, John Kernan.
Yes, he is, Bob. You know, we talked about how Ernie Irvin and Lake Speed took on only 2 tires. Well, the Wood brothers opted for a 4-tire change. The car was a little bit tight at the last pit stop, so they took a rubber out of the right front. Eddie Wood tells me that the car's feeling really good to Morgan right now. He's just trying to hang on because they're going so fast out here. You almost never lift unless you see potential trouble. And from what I can hear from you guys talking, that's apparently what Morgan saw a couple laps ago. Is that right? Or did I misunderstand?
No, you heard us correctly.
And now we see Morgan. He looks right behind the 28 car. And there is the leaders, Ricky Rudd and Mark Martin.
And now Martin is within less than a half a second from leader Ricky Rudd.
Just gradually close.
I came pretty close. 3/10. I said a half second. It was 3/10.
And right now, there's not a real push to get the lead, is there, Ned? Mark Martin doesn't have to go up past Ricky Rudd for the lead. He knows he's a fast race car.
Well, yeah, he does want to get up there and take the lead one time and get him 5 bonus points. But he does have a good race car and doesn't need to strain it too much to do that. But you never know what might happen if you get those 5 bonus points early. It's always helpful.
Average speed is 147.6 as we've completed 44 laps out of 200 in the Champion Sparkplug 400.
Okay, here's the deal. Someone at Lifetime hands you $5,000 and says, use this to make over any room in your house. You could go from early American to late Italian, stark white to Santa Fe. It's Lifetime's Room for Improvement sweepstakes. You pick the room, we'll give you the dough. Because there's always a little room for improvement and $5,000.
The local prize package totals over $5,000. Enter often at Haynes Furniture, and while you're there, be sure to look around at the many ways you can improve your rooms with help from Haynes.
Compare guarantees on brake jobs. Midas doesn't beat Speedy. Now compare estimates and we'll really stop you. Speedy will always beat Midas. Always. Call us on it.
On Denby Boulevard for guaranteed quality service you can depend on. From brakes to alignments. Call us on it. Speedy Muffler and Brakes on Denby Boulevard across from Montgomery Ward. Call 877-3000.
Sports Center Hollywood goes something like this. I'm on third. And on the first pitch, I go. I'm stealing home. Everyone's going crazy. My manager, the fans, and Patrick. But I'm stealing home. I'm in there. I'm home. And somewhere in Philly, my grandma has one of her spells. Yeah, that's my Sports Center highlight.
Still the number 5 car of Ricky Rudd leading the Champion Sparkplug 400. Second place, the 6 car of Mark Martin. Then a little bit of racetrack back to a group of cars that includes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Third place right now held by Dale Earnhardt. Well, tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, live here on ESPN, it is Sunday Night Baseball. And the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves will hook up. The last couple of games, the Braves have taken the measure of the Cincinnati Reds. Let's see what happens tonight. Join us live at 8 o'clock for ESPN Sunday Night Baseball from Riverfront.
Morgan Shepherd trying to take third spot away from Dale Earnhardt. Got inside down in turn 1, could not make the pass. Now he's going back again. As our camera watches him, goes in the corner. Oh, he drives in, but Earnhardt drives it on the outside. And Morgan goes up the hill, Don't
go too hard.
There's somebody there.
Oh, and Earnhardt really got up close to the wall as Ernie Irvan now joins the low group.
Oh, you have to work so hard. He's gotten clear now, going into the first turn.
Yes.
Finally.
Well, we told you a few minutes ago that Joe Nemechek had been on pit road several times. Unfortunately, the car is behind the wall, and Jerry's with Joe.
And Joe has climbed out of the car. Joe, they're working here beside you. What are they doing? What's the problem?
Well, went it down into turn 3, and all of a sudden the car went straight, and it wasn't a good feeling. I knew something was wrong. I felt like either a ball joint broke or something happened to the steering. And we came in, and it pulled the lower A-frame mount right out of the frame.
Well, you're lucky.
We're just having some tough luck right now, both in the Busch Series and here in Winston Cup. I feel sorry for Cintas. They stuck with us for a couple races. We gave them a good show at Watkins Glen. We were hoping to do the same here. And I'm just trying to get some experience, and we'll be back.
Joe Nemechek, the 1992 Busch Grand National Series champion, his third start. And guys, a lot of people in the Winston Cup garage mentioning his name for a possible Winston Cup ride next year.
Last year's Busch Grand National champion. Now we see that Morgan Shepherd is in third position, followed by Dale Earnhardt, Ken Schrader, Lake Speed, Rusty Wallace, and then Ernie Irvan.
And Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, and the interval between first and third is 7.2 seconds.
while these guys are racing back there, the front two are just running single file and pulling away.
Never see Earnhardt up high on the racetrack, followed by our pole sitter, Kenny Schrader, the Kodiak Chevrolet, and Lake Speed on the outside. So Schrader and Lake Speed still running side by side or nose to tail, but unfortunately it's not for the lead anymore.
Morgan Shepherd's again pull away a little bit from this group of cars, and Ricky Rudd holding on about the same distance to Mark Martin.
I never see Morgan Shepherd. That's the distance between Mark Martin and Morgan Shepherd. At least the almost the entire front straightaway. Here comes Schrader trying to go by Earnhardt. Down in turn one, he's on the inside, and no,
not quite.
Not quite. I thought he had the position made, but Earnhardt drove back by. That's P.J. Jones on the inside, the white car. Harry Mellon car. Now rest these guys for position.
We'll see where P.J. shows up here in the Napa field summary. He has been lapped now. He was on the lead lap last time we had a field summary. Now he has been passed by the leaders. Jeff Bodine, well, on the roof of that car, remember he had to drop to the rear of the field for the start of the race because he had some stomach flu and missed the driver introduction. So he's trying to move up from the back of the pack. And let's see, he's in 20th position right now.
That's pretty doggone good. He started last, moved up to 20th.
Got half of them.
Yep.
Got the rest of the half of the field.
That's right. And here's the telemetry. Miles per hour.
Let's see how slow he gets. 149 miles per hour was the slowest he got down turns 1 and 2 as he accelerates off the turn 2 down the back straightaway.
We talked about close to 200 miles an hour on some cars. Let's see how close Jeff gets. He got to 193 at the end of the backstretch.
He'll probably run a little bit faster down the front straightaway, all things being equal, if the wind is calm today.
Just ahead of him is the number 7 car that's being driven by Jimmy Hensley that really he owns now and will take over the full-time directorship of next year.
196, 197, 199 miles an hour.
Yep. The drivers were saying that they're close to 200, and by golly, they are. And the interval from the leader back to 19th place, Jeff Bodine, is 22 seconds.
That's about a little over half a lap. The leader is turning at a little over 41 seconds right now, Ricky Rudd. It's a little more than a half a lap behind.
There from our roof camera on top of the motorcraft Ford, we see the view that Jeff Bodine sees. And once again, let's see our telemetry down the front straightaway. Let's see if we can get to 200 this time, Bob.
Come on, get up there.
Stand up. Don't back off going into that turn.
Come on,
back
Jeff, stand on it.
Come on, Jeff. Oh, 197.
Yeah, better him than me, I'll tell you that.
Well, we completed 55 laps now, and probably sometime between 5 and 10 laps from now, we'll have to start thinking about the possibility of pit stops, and we want to make sure that we're able to show you all the activity in the pits, so we'll take this break and be right back.
With its cool new look and refreshing new lines, the new Ford Ranger Splash is the first and only compact flare side, the 1993 Ford Ranger Splash. Start making some waves.
Ford trucks, the best, never best.
A noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, a Norse ritual is right guard sport stick. An aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right guard sport stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
When Darryl Waltrip's at work, a tire problem could ruin his day.
Like you, I need the right tires at the right price. At Western Auto, we guarantee it. Western Auto's wide assortment of tires are at unbeatable low prices. And you can always count on Western Auto for mounting, balancing, and alignment 7 days a week.
Western Auto installs your tires fast with their 58-minute tire installation guarantee. Mounted in 58 minutes or less.
the right tires, the right price. At Western Auto, we guarantee it.
Right, DW.
Da-da-da, da-da-da.
ESPN Speed World today at Michigan International Speedway in the Irish Hills of Southern Michigan in the champion Spark Plug 400 race 20 of the 1993 NASCAR Winston Cup season. It is Ricky Rudd and Mark Martin up front here in this race with 59 laps completed. And here is Wally Dallenbach making a pit stop, and we indicated that the pit stops were scheduled here within the next few laps, and he's among the first.
Changed 4 tires on the Keystone Ford. He's off and running. I'm sure that the Jack Roush crew, sitting right beside of them, will be scrambling around looking at his tire wear, seeing how his tires look, and trying to figure out what to do with Mark Martin's car when he comes in.
Well, just a great run for Wally Dallenbach Jr. at Watkins Glen last weekend. He finished second right behind his teammate in the winner, Mark Martin.
There's a race for 4th, and then we see Dick Trickle. He's driving the pedigree car this week. Last week it was Scott Lagacy in Watkins Glen. This week it's Dick Trickle. See Farmer Jack on the front. That's a grocery store chain up here in Michigan.
Scott Lagacy did a good job in this car last week. Finished about 13th, I think it was.
Looks like they're having some
Winston Cup race.
Had some trouble there on the right rear of the car, and he was in longer than he wanted to be. Jeff Gordon and Lake Speed are side by side, and here comes Rusty Wallace.
This is the car, the DuPont car that Jeff Gordon is driving is the car that he finished second here in June. They did not intend to use that car this time. He crashed his primary car in practice on Friday. Had to go to this car as a backup.
Rick Wilson brings the STP Pontiac in for a stop, and now it is Gordon and Ernie Irvin. Wally Dallenbach is coming in for a second pit stop, Jerry. No, he's going behind the wall. He's going in the garage area, Jerry.
Bob, what happened was Wally thought he had a tire going down because the car started to jerk and not pull coming off the turn. He came down pit road. They changed all 4 tires. He left pit road and found out it was not a tire problem. Indeed, he had broken an axle. So now the Keystone Bear crew are headed back to the garage area where Wally is taking the car. They hope to change the axle and get him back in the race. As the car number 39 comes back down pit road, once again the pedigree car comes in. What a difference a week makes for Wally Dallenbach.
Looks like it was a stop and go. The speed limit, as we indicated, is 65 miles an hour, and he's pitted up toward turn number 4, and so he has a long way to go down pit road, and NASCAR assessing a penalty for speeding coming down here.
See, that's one advantage to pitting down there where we see Dick Trickle's car now, because if you break the speed limit, you do it coming in the pits, and they hold you for 15 seconds. And here comes Earnhardt down pit road. This starts the front runners in their pit stops.
Dale Earnhardt relinquishes 4th position to come in for a stop. Jerry Punch, he's headed toward you.
And remember, last time under caution, they changed the left side tires first, and once again, they will do it. They will switch up what they have done for years and years and won 4 championships as being the fastest pit crew in NASCAR. What a difference. Left side tires going on, and now Will Lynn, David Smith, and the crew, Andy Petrie, go around to the right side of the car. As the car number 7 comes down, Jimmy Hensley, here's Hut Strickland, the McDonald's Ford down pit road, as Earnhardt gets 4 tires and is down on the way. Let's check in on John Curran.
Jimmy Hensley is in. It looks like it's going to be right side tires only for the USA bobsled Ford Thunderbird. Paul Andrews and the crew going to work. Right sides are on. They're waiting for the fuel to come out full. Jimmy speeds away down pit road in fine fashion.
He lit him up and made some noise coming out, and Jimmy Horton is in the number 32 car.
Brent Bodine, Michael Waltrip, and Jeff Bodine all coming in for scheduled pit stops.
And Brent Bodine has had a great run going as we watch from on the top of the Jeff Bodine car. Brent Bodine, his brother, has had a great run going today.
Jimmy Spencer is in, so is Terry Labate. Let's go to the pits and Jerry Punch.
Michael Waltrip has run out of fuel. The Pennzoil Pontiac, he radioed and said, I think I'm out of gas. When the car came by me, headed toward John Kernan. John, the car was not running at all as the car number 14 comes out. And here's the Meineke muffler at 14, Bobby Allison Racing, Jimmy Spencer. Here's the Motorcraft Ford coming out. And Jimmy Horton just finishing his pit service on the Active Racing Chevrolet. A number of cars radioing toward the pits saying they are out of gas, and one included among those is Mark Martin, the Valvoline Ford Thunderbird. As it's radioed in and said, I think I'm out of fuel. The car is sputtering and missing as he will head for the pits, and Steve Mill and the crew waiting on the wall for him to come down pit road. Here is Ricky Rudd, the leader in the Tide Chevrolet. And Mark Martin's car further up pit road, very, very slowly headed toward his pits. Right side tires going on Rudd's Tide Chevrolet as they are pushing Waltrip now. Michael Waltrip, who had run out of fuel earlier. Yes, indeed, the car was not running. The Valvoline Ford was not running as they come down pit road and now going to work on the right and left side. They're fueling Mark Martin's Valvoline Ford. Meanwhile, Rudd is out, having changed all 4 tires. Steve Mill and the crew trying to get left side tires now on Mark Martin's car. The winner from a week ago already having tough luck. They made a major chassis adjustment in the right rear. They're pushing the car, pushing, it fires, and Martin spins the tires and heads away.
Well, that cost him a lot of time. That time he had to coast into the pits, then took a little longer in the pits than he normally would have taken. So Mark Martin is going to have a lot of catching up to do as others come in now. Morgan Shepherd, Lake Speed, and Rusty Wallace all coming at you, Jerry.
Rusty Wallace here getting service in his crew, and they will go to the right side. Meanwhile, Lake Speed's crew also changing right side tires on the Haviland Ford Thunderbird further toward turn 1. Morgan Shepherd also getting service, and John Kernan is there. John?
Jerry, it'll be 4 tire change. Right side's already on. Left side's going on right now. Morgan sitting, waiting patiently. They've already got it full of fuel. Rusty Wallace heads down pit road, swinging down. The jack goes down. Picks up the tires and heads down pit road. Lake Speed gets out just in front of him.
Just barely. Green flag pit stops being made. Some completed. Bill Elliott is finished. Ken Schrader slides to a stop, Jerry.
Our pole fender with a new track record at over 2.5 miles per hour over the previous record. The Kodiak Chevrolet crew now going to work. Ken Howes and company having changed right side tires already for Kenny Schrader. Left side tires going on. Car getting full of fuel. Schrader getting very good gas mileage. The car is down the way. 20.2 seconds and he's away.
I tell you what, when all this shakes down, Ricky Rudd is going to have a great lead on the field.
Yes, he is. He's going to have a very, very big lead.
Jeff Gordon is being shown as the leader. He has not made a pit stop yet.
So Dale Earnhardt is a lap down. He's trying his best to get by Jeff Gordon in case the caution flag were to come out. He can make a lap up, and it looks like he's able to accomplish that down the back straightaway.
So Gordon gets 5 bonus points for leading a lap, but needs a pit stop and may be coming in now. The 22 car of Bobby Labonte is in, so is Harry Gant, who's the defending champion of this race. And yes, indeed, Jeff Gordon is down off the banking. John Kernan will call this pit stop by Jeff.
65 miles an hour down pit road. Jeff Gordon located near the exit of pit road. Ray Evernham and the crew awaiting patiently. Look up 69 laps on the board. They were anticipating coming in on lap 70. Jeff slows it down. He'll flip it over to the left, pull it in. It will be a 4-tire change as the DuPont Chevrolet crew goes to work. Remember that great run, gas mileage, fuel mileage for this team. A second place finish back in June. They bump up the spoiler, get a little more downforce on the rear end. The car had been just a little bit loose. They'll also take some tape off the front grill. They swing around to the left side of the car. Tires coming off, new Goodyear Racing Eagle stickers going on. They are full of fuel. Down. Jeff Gordon away in 21.8. Now let's go pit road to Jerry Punch.
And Darrell Waltrip's Western Auto crew, Barry Dotson and company, finishing up the service there. Remember, Waltrip was late for driver introductions because it's 24th wedding anniversary. He's spending time with wife Stevie. Now he gets that pit stop completed and heads back down toward turn 1. 21.8 seconds for DW.
Waltrip goes back out, and other celebrations today. In addition to Stevie and Darrell's 24th wedding anniversary, Rusty Wallace had his 37th birthday yesterday. Robin Pemberton is celebrating his 37th birthday today, and Andy Petrie is 35 today. There's the leader, Ricky Rudd. After these green flag pit stops have been made, Rudd finds himself with a relatively comfortable lead with 71 laps completed and the average speed of the champion Sparkplug 400, 156.4.
Why use Valvoline Motor Oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
If it were just to win more trophies, we wouldn't be here. But there's a side to Ford racing you won't find in the sports page. It's learning how to make your car safer by racing 200 miles an hour in heavy traffic. And learning how a granite roller coaster can make your truck even tougher. Because when it comes to developing technology for your Ford, there shouldn't be any limits. That's why we race. Of course, we're not about to give back all our trophies. Have you driven a Ford lately?
From the days when they ripped through the sands of Daytona to tracks like Talladega and Darlington, racing fans have had a love affair with the drivers. To commemorate these heroes, Country Time presents our new Collector Series, featuring Kowicki, Gant, Shepard, Hamilton, Jarrett, and Darrell Waltrip. What better way to salute the men who risk it all on the Speedway and the fans who make it all worthwhile.
Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch back at Michigan International Speedway in the Champions Sparkplug 400. It is Ricky Rudd who is leading this race.
There's Rusty Wallace in second. There's a race. There's the third place car. Mark Martin, Lake Speed is fourth, and got a pretty good race going on for fifth.
Then Ken Schrader, Morgan Shepherd, and Dale Earnhardt.
Rudd is a little over 10 seconds ahead of Rusty Wallace now. That's about a little over a fourth of a lap.
And that's about how much time that Mark Martin lost when he ran out of fuel on the back straightaway and had to coast into the pits.
Now Mark has gotten back up to third place.
I'm a little confused, but that's nothing new, is it?
What are you confused about?
Well, why would the Earnhardt crew change the way they've been doing things for so many years and change left sides now and then go to the right? I mean, why change a good thing?
Well, they saw that at Watkins Glen last week when a lot of drivers changed the right sides first and then went around and changed the left side. They thought they would try that. I really can't see where it's helped them, Bob. As a matter of fact, I think they've slowed down about a second on their pit stop.
Well, Jerry, what have you been able to learn?
Well, there are people who believe that changing the inside tires can be quicker once you get it perfected. Now, it's new to these people. A lot of the crews have only done it a couple of times at the road courses, particularly Watkins Glen a week ago. But also, and maybe more importantly, there's a safety measure. You don't have crew members running beyond the car when other cars are coming down pit road. They're on the inside, protected by the race car between the car and the wall. And actually, it might be a good consideration for NASCAR to think about making everyone change the inside tires first. So those crew members, 7 of them, would be inside between the car and the wall when there's traffic on pit road.
Good point. Yep, I hadn't thought of that, but that is a very good reason. By the way, that car you see there at the bottom of your screen on the apron is Wally Dallenbach. He rejoins the race.
You know, talk about those pit stops. The man who takes the nuts loose on the left side is able to do that while they're changing the right side tire. So it's hard to imagine that they could do it as quickly as they could the other way around. But I don't know. But I certainly agree with that safety part that Jerry talked about. I think that's a very valuable consideration.
Yeah, we saw the Jackman, Rusty Wallace's Jackman last week when he was running out to change the left side first and had to almost leap over the hood of Rusty's car. If they were to change the right side first, in this case, the left side first, then that Jackman doesn't have to run in front of that car. A good point that Jerry Punch brought up.
We have 23 cars on the lead lap with 77 out of 200 laps completed.
Here they're racing.
They're still racing. There's Dale Jarrett, Bobby Labonte, Bill Elliott, and Jeff Bodine.
Well, Bobby Labonte is shown in the 16th position, Jarrett in the 17th position. Now Jarrett takes 2 positions away, it looks there right now, so moving up a little bit as Jeff Bodine goes by. Ooh, little shuffling around there.
That's the 89 car of Jim Sauter, the Ford, right directly behind Jeff Bodine.
That's Elliott up on the high side. Bill Elliott, most poles here at Michigan, 7. Most wins, 7. He has the best average starting position at Michigan, 6th, and the best average finishing position out of all of his races, 11. Currently running in 15th spot, and he began this race from the 8th position. Oh, look at him come off that corner.
He saw him get started wiggling a little bit, able to save it. I tell you what, when talking to the drivers and crew members down in the garage area, they were concerned about the speed here, and they had these cars 199 miles per hour we saw going down in turn 1. That's 7 or 8 miles an hour more than we've ever seen before. They're concerned about it.
Yeah, and it's getting up close to the speeds they run at Daytona, really, as far as the top speed is concerned.
And I mentioned it is now the 3rd fastest track in the series, bumping Atlanta from that distinction. Rick Mast last November, as Mark Martin passes Rusty Wallace for 2nd spot.
He's caught Rusty, went by. He's back where he started in 2nd place before he ran out of gas. The only problem, he was a half a second behind. Now he's about 10 seconds behind.
Here's the pit summary from last time. Rudd went in 1st, came out 1st. Martin in 2nd, out 2nd. Shepard in 3rd, out 5th. Earnhardt in 4th, now 7th. And Schrader went in 5th and is now running in 6th position.
And Rudd is still over 10 seconds ahead of Mark Martin. Now, he was more than 10 seconds ahead of Mark Martin. Before, he was 10 seconds ahead of Rusty Wallace. So Martin apparently is gaining a little bit on him. We'll watch that a little bit as Kyle Petty is about to go a lap down.
Lap down. Let me finish what I was about to say. Rick Mast qualified at Atlanta last November at 180.1 and Schrader here at 180.7. So Michigan, the 3rd fastest track in the Winston Cup Series.
And remember, a couple of weeks ago, you and I did a speed show, and you asked about what to do at Talladega.
Let me set that up.
Okay, set that up.
I asked Benny how we can keep the cars from flying, as we saw at Talladega and as we have seen at Daytona. And he says the only thing you can do is reduce the angle of the banking at Talladega. He says, quote, "You don't see the cars flying at Atlanta and Michigan, do you? Yesterday, Johnny Benson Jr. proved him wrong." Now what do you have to say?
I really don't know what to do now. I got to go back to the drawing board. I really felt like knocking the banks down would fix it, but obviously I was wrong because Benson flew through the air yesterday.
And he's okay. And one other thing we'd like to tell you, Dale Earnhardt, you probably thought finished 2nd in yesterday's race. He did not. After a post-race inspection, he was declared with an illegal carburetor and dropped to 3rd.
Dropped to 41st.
I'm sorry, 41st. Yeah. There is Mark Martin running in 2nd. Now here from lap 76 through 80, we timed the leader Rudd and 2nd place Martin. And Martin closed down the interval from 11.7 to 10.6. And very consistent laps there by Mark Martin, and pretty consistent by Rudd too.
We gained 1 second in 5 laps. So in 50 laps, maybe he'll be back up trying to contest for the lead again if he can keep that consistency, and Rudd will keep running the speed he's running. And here we go, Lake Speed trying to take over that 3rd spot, and we've got a caution flag.
And we have debris on the backstretch. This is our 3rd caution of the day and 2nd for debris. There was the last lap speed, 172.25. That's about 8 miles and 8.5 miles an hour slower, but now they do reduce speed under this caution.
And I'll tell you, a lot of drivers welcome this caution because they had to make those green flag pit stops. Didn't have time to make a lot of adjustments on the car. There's some of them that were fighting them out there, so they welcome the opportunity to make a pit stop during caution and can make adjustments to the cars. Besides that, to catch up to Ricky Rudd.
Yeah, right. That's the biggest thing that brought up to Ricky Rudd.
The 39 car of Dick Trickle, we will tell you, has gone to the garage area while we watch the pace car slow down the field with Rudd right behind and Hut Strickland.
Yeah, Hut and Kyle Petty, we saw them go a lap down not too long ago, so a tough break for them that they'd gone that lap down and caution didn't come out a little bit earlier.
The top 10 now after 84 laps are Rudd, Martin, Wallace, Speed, Shepard, Schrader, Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, Irvin, and Rick Mast. Field out in turn number 3.
Hey, what? Rick Mast doing a pretty good job with his sore neck out there.
No kidding.
It really is.
He's running 10th turn.
Yeah, we'd seen him earlier in a big pack of cars back there, and he just went right on through that pack of cars and drove away from them. Made a good green flag pit stop and moved up into the top 10.
Right now, remember that top 10 that I just gave you, because here they come for pit stops, and we'll see how they shake out after their stops. Everybody on the lead lap coming down. Jerry Punch is down there.
We're going to stack them 3 deep for you, folks. 3 pit stops you're going to watch on your television screen. Top of the screen, Ricky Rudd, the leader, car number 5. Middle is the Valvoline Ford in car number 6. And the 28 car, Lake Speed, the Haviland Ford. Right side tires for the car number 28. Likewise, they've already completed right side tires on Ricky Rudd. And they're finishing up the right side, now going to the left side on the car number 6. Left side now, the car number 28. Rudd is down and away. And the car number 6 is down and away. And Lake Speed getting his service completed. They had to back up because they had a hose. The car was up on the hose. Now at the left side up there. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Jerry, Lake thought he was taking right side tires only. He started to go, only they had already jacked up the left side. The lug nuts were already off. They stopped him really quick. Joey Knuckles was coming around, and he ran over the air hose. He got stuck on the air hose. He had to sit there, tried to back up the car. He had the left side up on the jack. They had to let it back down. He had to back it up. Finally, after a long time in here, Lake Speed leaves with 4 new tires.
So a lot of track position lost there by Lake Speed as the caution remains out at the Brooklyn, Michigan International Speedway. Here's a replay now of Lake's pit stop.
Jack goes down. He starts to go. He's sitting on the hose. So they go ahead and change the left sides. No, they decide to back it up. Now they've got to jack it up and change the tires because the lug nuts are off.
Valuable time lost, and he will come back on pit road this lap. Back with more live coverage from the Champion Spark Plug 400 in a moment.
The Grand Am's great.
Well, what happened to the Accord?
Yeah.
I found out what the Accord really costs. With air, automatic, anti-lock brakes, $19,500.
Whoa.
Huh? They weren't talking to me.
Really? Wow. The Grand Am, they don't give that away.
Air, automatic, standard anti-lock brakes, $5,000 less than the Accord.
5 less?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you know what that means a month? Got me into a new car.
What are you going to do with the money?
Eat.
Imagine this is a sidewall of a tire. The whole idea is to keep the tread area in level contact with the road, or you'll lose traction, especially in cornering. Now, Goodyear has learned a lot in NASCAR racing and applied that knowledge to Eagle's street radials. In cornering, there's a lot of force trying to lift the tire, but Goodyear Eagle's racing-inspired sidewall design works to hold the tire firmly to the road. Eagle radials, only from Goodyear. We like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Pontiac and your nearby Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. By Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Jeff Gordon has put himself up front and will be the leader when they come down. The rookie points reflect his lead in the standings. Bobby Labonte with 171 in second, then Kenny Wallace and P.J. Jones, who got a late start in the rookie battle, is fourth right now.
And Todd Bodine, I think his intentions are to run the remainder of the year. Don't you think so, Ned?
Yeah, that's the plans, that he would run the balance of the year, which would, if he hasn't declared himself a rookie this year, he just simply would never run for Rookie of the Year, because running the balance of the season would disqualify him. He would run too many races to be eligible for Rookie of the Year next year. Jerry Punch?
I asked the folks this morning in the Max Race Cards who run the Rookie of the Year program with NASCAR, or actually sponsor the Rookie of the Year program, and they told me that indeed Todd Bodine had declared he'll only be able to run 12 races, and you get judged on your best 15 starts, so he may not have a shot in sheer numbers, but if he's impressive and can win a couple short tracks possibly, he could pull it off.
Now let's take a look at the pit stop summary. Ricky Rudd in first, comes out in second position. Mark Martin second to fourth. Rusty stays in third. Lake Speed, look at the loss that he had. Fourth place in, 14th out, and Morgan Shepherd in fifth, out in fifth position. John has a comment on the leader of the race, Jeff Gordon.
When you saw everyone else take on 4 tires, Ray Evernham decided they'd gamble, take on right side tires only, and get that car to the front. Remember, he led a couple of laps earlier because of gas mileage. Now they have him up front, and we'll see if he can hold back his teammate Ricky Rudd.
This is the 9th race that Jeff Gordon has led at least 1 lap. They head for turn number 1. He still is in the lead. Ricky Rudd and Rusty Wallace close in.
Tell you what, Rudd just didn't close up on the rear bumper, did he? As Mark Martin pulls on the outside of Rusty Wallace, trying to take, what is that, 3rd place away?
Yep.
Folks, we're just going to show you. Let's watch this.
Again to that 200-mile-an-hour mark in the tri-oval, got to 199. He is in a lot of traffic, however.
He's running in 11th position.
And here now is Ricky Rudd making a challenge for the lead on his teammate Jeff Gordon. Coming off with a 4th corner into the tri-oval. Rudd goes way low on the track, gets that white line, and let's see if he can. Yes, he does. There's the average speed, 149.8, and the race record is 125.4.
Wow, and we've had, what, 3 caution flags so far? And still averaging 150 miles per hour. What are we going to talk about that half hour we've got to fill at the end of the show, Dan?
Let those guys talk about that fast speed they've been running, I guess.
The cars on the move are Rick Mast in 1 and Ernie Irvin in 4. Now here's Martin alongside Jeff Gordon for 2nd position. Hendrick racing with an impressive performance. Remember, they finished 1-2 here in June, and at the moment they're 1-2, maybe 1-3 at times, Jerry.
And Bob, last lap when Ricky Rudd came all the way to the bottom of the racetrack and passed Jeff Gordon, then slid right back up in front of him by about 6 inches. Rick Hendricks had him beside him. His knees buckled. He went down to the ground on both knees, put his face in his hands, and shook his head and said, man, my race team could have gone away there in a heartbeat. And then he had a big smile. He's going to be liking it, but these guys are out there to each other in their own race car to win the race.
I think I would be sweating it too down there. There he is.
There's Rick Hendrick. I was told he had to get up at 5 o'clock this morning to fly up here to watch his team's racing. Here goes Mark Martin trying to take the lead. If he can, this caution flag would really be a break.
He was all over the track coming off the corner, but he gets it straightened out and down the backstretch. He pulls ahead of Rudd, but Ricky maintains his position, now moves back ahead of Mark.
All right, Martin's going to try it again.
Here comes Morgan Shepherd creeping up on him.
That's right. While these cars are racing, the guys behind them able to catch them. And we can see who Jeff Gordon's going to go with. That's no surprise, is it?
No, he's going with his buddy, teammate Ricky Rudd, pushes him right back out into the lead.
By the way, the third member of this team, Ken Schrader, is running 7th, and Morgan Shepherd slides up the racetrack and comes very close to Jeff Gordon as they go down the backstretch.
It looked like Morgan wasn't going with anybody. He was going to try to work for himself in that little group of cars there.
Rudd, Martin, Shepherd, and Gordon. I don't think we mentioned that Jeff Gordon crashed in practice on Friday. This is his backup car.
You should listen to me. I told him all that about an hour ago. Yeah.
I don't like to listen to you anymore than I have.
Sometimes I have a lot of information.
We're near the halfway point of this race.
And we've got a blown engine down in turn 1. Jimmy Horton. Remember down in Talladega about 2 or 3 weeks ago, that turbo flippy? And then Morgan Shepherd takes over 3rd place.
Morgan Shepherd is 3rd. 2nd place belongs to Mark Martin as Ricky Rudd continues to lead the champion Sparkplug 400.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is your ticket to football's hottest head-to-head rivalries. There's one great hit after another in a schedule jammed with key intra-divisional rivalries. The season reaches its grand finale when the fastest, strongest, and toughest gather for the Pro Bowl. Live on ESPN.
Catch the NFL live on ESPN, sponsored in part by your Hampton Roads Dodge dealers.
Hi, I'm Steve Forrest, owner of Victory Lane Race Fan Store. I'm here to announce our hot summer hat sale. That's right, our entire line of officially licensed NASCAR hats is now on sale for only $9.99, but for a limited time. And while you're here, don't forget to stop by and register to win a trip for 2 to the sold-out Richmond Night Race, courtesy of the Tidewater 500 Travel Club.
Everything for the race fan. Victory Lane Race Fan Store. It's like being on the team.
Fans, ABC Sports and ESPN have your season ticket to the best and most gridiron action. College football pay-per-view. In addition to the games on ESPN and your ABC station, get extra games from the nation's top teams and conferences that you won't see anywhere else. Act now, and you can order at the lowest price of the season. Call your cable company today.
Still a great battle up front here in Michigan as Mark Martin and Ricky Rudd battle for the lead. Rudd once again goes to the inside in the 2nd turn, but Rudd has the better momentum up high. They come off the corner down the backstretch, and now Rudd to the inside, and Martin looks outside, but even that didn't work. Rick Mast, who we mentioned a few minutes ago as one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, has come in. He's on his way back, and Jerry knows why.
Bob, unscheduled stop for a flat right front tire for the Skull efforts for Rick Mast, the Richard Jackson car. He heads back to turn 1. Tough break. They will certainly not scheduled for another pit stop for about 30 laps. And now he pulls up in front of the leaders as they head for turn 1.
He was in 8th spot, and look at this 3 abreast racing. That is Earnhardt, Schrader, and Wallace.
Schrader takes a spot away. He's the guy going forward. Rusty Wallace, the guy going backwards right now. That's for 5th spot.
Yep, moves into 5th. Earnhardt is 6th. Wallace 7th.
Jeff Bodine has now moved up to 8th. There's a side-by-side battle for 9th between Dale Jarrett and Ernie Irvin.
There's Rick Mast. They thought the right front tire was the problem. Evidently, that was not the problem because he is still off the pace.
It is 2 o'clock Eastern time, and for those of you just joining us, welcome to Michigan International Speedway. We're right exactly, well, 1 lap past the halfway mark. 101 laps have been completed, and the leader at the moment is Ricky Rudd. Mark Martin is 2nd. We've had a great race so far. Here is Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt still going at it.
They're racing for 6th place.
There is Rudd and Martin. And Jerry Rick Mast back in again. What's the problem?
Bob, last time he came in, radioed he thinks he had a right front tire going down. They changed the right side tires. He went back at it. As Benny Parsons mentioned, did not come up to speed. The vibration that he thought was a right front tire was still there. He came back down pit road and changed left side tires. Now he's pulled away, and we'll see if possibly that may have fixed the problem.
He gathers up some speed down the backstretch as we continue to watch this battle for 6th position, and the caution is out once again. And again, we don't see any obvious reason for it. It is again debris on the racetrack. There is metal on the track in turn number 2. So the 4th caution comes out. 3 have been for debris on the racetrack, 1 for a spin involving Todd Bodine. Here's the Western Auto race summary. Ricky Rudd has led 82 of the first 100 laps. There are 21 cars on the lead lap, 5 leaders, 9 lead changes, 3 cautions. This is the 4th. 18 laps have been under caution so far. The average is a little over 151 miles an hour. Those that have led a lap so far today and picked up the 5 bonus points include Ricky Rudd, Jeff Gordon, Ernie Irvin, Ken Schrader, and Lake Speed. Those out of the race include Rich Bickle, Todd Bodine, and Jimmy Horton. The Mechanic of the Year standings show Andy Petrie from Dale Earnhardt's team on top. Tony Glover from Ernie Irvin's is 2nd. Steve Meal working for Mark Martin is 3rd in the standings. Frank Edwards on the 25 Ken Schrader car is 4th, and Buddy Parrott from Rusty Wallace's crew is 5th in the standings for the Western Auto Mechanic of the Year.
I think we want to see some more pit stops, don't you, Bob?
Well, I think so, Benny, especially since we have gone past the halfway mark, and now they would be in a window that many of them could make it with 1 more pit stop after this if it should go green the rest of the way. So I think they definitely will take advantage of this caution today.
Can they run at this speed? You think they can run 45 laps then?
Yeah, some of them can.
Really?
Some of them, I believe, can.
Wow. Yeah. So that just might be another deal where the gas mileage once again.
Yep.
Would be a factor.
Everybody on the lead lap comes in. We're once again going to give you a 3-way split on the screen so you can keep track of the pit stops of 3 different drivers. Jerry Punch has the honors.
Chevrolet on top, that's Ricky Rudd. In the middle of your screen is the Valvoline efforts of Mark Martin and the car number 21, the Sitco car, just pulling into the Wood Brothers pit right now. Right side tires on Morgan Jeffers 21. They have already changed right sides on Mark Martin's car and Ricky Rudd's car. Left side going up on the Tide Chevrolet. Left side of the Valvoline Ford. Looks like the Valvoline Ford is off the jack first. He is down and away. The car spurted. Car number 21 still in. Rusty Wallace. Now Ricky Rudd begins to move. And now the car number 21 is down off the jack and away. But a great pit stop by Steve Mill and the Valvoline crew to get Mark Martin out first.
Ted Musgrave was the first car out of the pits.
But Ted, isn't he the lap down? No, he isn't. No, he isn't. I beg your pardon.
He wasn't.
Yeah, he was about to go a lap down before that one caution before.
He was in 11th position, but has a great stop, comes out in the lead as Michael Waltrip comes right up on the back bumper of the Pontiac pace car. We will be back with more live coverage from Michigan International Speedway and the Champion Spark Plug 400.
Hey, you know what it takes to get ahead. Performance. You know what it takes to stay on track. Control. You know what it takes to lead the way. So do we. The Grand Am Sport Coupe. V6 performance, the control of anti-lock brakes.
Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
This is your world. true, working together in all that you do, and you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud, Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your. Proud to be your bud.
This week, the PBA's big guns shoot for the pins at the Greater Harrisburg Open. Then it's into the ring for a heavyweight battle as Orla Norris dukes it out with Timber Jack Basting.
Knockdown Thursday, ESPN. Hey!
Knockdown Thursday at 7:30. A week from Saturday night, they will be knocking down the walls of Bristol International Speedway in Tennessee. We'll present live coverage of the Bud 500 at 7:30. That's a week from this coming Saturday, August 28th, here on ESPN. A couple of things that you might look for between now and then, however. Benny and I will have a special program from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway come Tuesday to report on the activity there, the practice that they have scheduled tomorrow and Tuesday. Look at the crowd that's gathered here. Boy, it's a nice, hot, sunny, humid day. Everybody is enjoying the action. And, of course, Saturday Night Thunder and the Fastmasters next Saturday night. Well, Jerry Punch, Ricky Rudd was in for another pit stop, and he was in for quite a while. What's the problem?
They raised the hood and put some water in the radiator. One of the crew members said they were going to possibly put some stop leak or liquid glass in the water. I spoke with Gary Dehart, the crew chief, and Rick Hendrick, and said the car apparently has temperature fluctuating up and down. Now, while it was sitting here, there was some water that came out the overflow, but there's no water now coming out on the racetrack. NASCAR has been watching the car very carefully, so they're not really sure exactly what the problem may be. Some speculate it could be a head gasket, possibly a small crack in the block. They hope not.
Well, our pit summary will indicate how much he lost. Ricky Rudd came into the pits in first position. He comes out 19th. Mark Martin stays in second. Shepard third to fifth. Gordon from fourth stays there. And Ken Schrader was in fifth and comes out in seventh position. Now the leader, not reflected on that pit summary, Ted Musgrave.
You know, they talked about Ricky Rudd losing some moisture early in the race. Remember that?
Yeah.
So evidently he was losing just a little bit of water all race long. Man, oh man, what a tough break for Rudd. We're going racing, Bob, in just a second.
Yes, we are. Pace car pulls in.
Kyle Petty alongside Ted Musgrave. He wants to get a lap back.
And here we go. The green flag is out. Back to racing at Michigan. Well, they're four abreast back there.
See Jimmy Spencer down on the inside.
Well, it's not unusual to see him fan out here on this front straightaway or tri-oval. Try to get position going into turn one.
Musgrave chased by Martin. Rudd is way back there someplace. He's 19th in the standings, but there are lap cars between him and the leader.
Yeah, a lot of cars between him and the leader.
A lot of really fast race cars between him and the leader. Ooh, and man, he hadn't been seeing anything like this all day long, and here's a change for the lead. Mark Martin has not led this race today. He now takes the lead. He comes by the start-finish line, and now gets credit for leading.
Mark has led at least one lap in 14 of the 20 races this year and is second only to Dale Earnhardt in laps led, the lap leaders and bonus points.
Rusty Wallace trying to take second away, and Jeff Gordon almost got in the back of Musgrave, had to go way up the gray stuff.
Great battle behind the leader. Two abreast for second and two abreast for fourth.
That's what Mark Martin loves.
Ooh, look at Morgan come on the inside, making three abreast.
He backs out, or does he? Yep.
Yep. He said, hey, I got in there a little bit too quick. I better back out and regroup here. Morgan has a big open house next Saturday that he wants to invite everybody to at his shop near Conover, North Carolina.
He's trying it again, three abreast, but this time he makes the pass. Goes by Rusty and Jeff Gordon to take over third place.
Shepard strong here, moves to third.
That's it, go forward is fast. The Wood brothers have had fast race cars here at the Michigan International Speedway.
Here he goes for second. He's alongside Musgrave.
He's got it.
He pulls up in front.
Jeff Gordon tried to come along, but he couldn't quite muster up enough speed going into that turn. Now you come down to the inside as Earnhardt comes down on the inside too, making it three abreast off that turn. They take care of the 55 car of Ted Musgrave, and Earnhardt goes up into, what, third?
Looks like he's running third place.
The 89 car of Joe Nemechek has been in the wall. He's down. Jim Sauter, rather. He's down off the banking and on pit road, so we'll have no caution.
And Terry Labonte, who had been behind the wall for a while in the Kellogg's Cornflakes Chevrolet, is going back out on the track.
Sauter banged up the rear end of that car.
Real good. They're pushing that car towards the garage here. He's done for the day.
Car's a little shorter than it was earlier today.
We haven't mentioned it. Rick Mast, who we were following there just before the caution came out, has taken the Skoll Classic forward behind the wall. They're working on it right now.
Dale Jarrett behind Ken Schrader and alongside Ted Musgrave.
Looks like Musgrave, those two tires are just not working. They need to change four.
Yep, it looks that way. They only took on two, gave him great track position, but now he's beginning to slip back a little bit.
I believe he's in seventh, isn't he, Ned?
Who?
Dale.
Jarrett, yeah. They just moved him up to seventh. In fact, they had a great pit stop. Criticized those guys sometime earlier in the year when they didn't have good pit stops. I got to commend them. The last time out, there was 19.5 seconds. So.
Well, there is Lake Speed running alongside Ricky Rudd.
Kyle Petty moves over, gives those guys a lot of room as they go by him down in turn one. Well, they tried to.
Didn't give him enough room. Not quite right there. Ricky decides that's not smart to stick the nose up in there.
I thought Kyle was moving over. He was just going down to the bottom like we've seen so many guys. Now he got out of the way.
He really got out of the way that time. And Kyle will do that. He is very, very good about moving over, letting the leaders go. And when he's up there running for the lead, he expects the same courtesy. Sometimes don't get it, but nevertheless, does it when they come to him.
Rudd and Lake Speed, I believe, are in a battle for 12th position here. We'll check that out on Napa Field Summary. Bernie Ehrman is 10th. Yeah, that's the battle for 12, Speed and Rudd. That Rudd has right now, as you can see.
Some good racing going on back in that group of cars.
You can see there that Harry Gant, the defending champion of this race, is a lap down. He, too, won it last year on fuel mileage.
Be tough for him to do today, though.
Yep.
Especially being a lap down.
The 5 car, we understand, continues to dump fluid on the racetrack. Jerry told us that they have a radiator problem that is causing some water to leak onto the track, and apparently is still doing so. Their effort to seal it up has not worked, apparently. So 114 laps now completed out of 200. It's still Mark Martin leading this race here at Michigan International Speedway. Back in a moment.
In IndyCar racing, when it rains, we don't race on super speedways. But we're running this IndyCar on Goodyear Eagles to prove a point about wet traction, cornering, and stopping. What's the point? These are not Goodyear Racing Eagles. They're Eagle GSC street radials with dual tread design for outstanding traction in the dry and in the wet. Eagle GSC street radials only from Goodyear. We like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Fire from beneath the mountains gave the land its richness, and the land gave the richness to the coffee of Colombia. That's why Maxwell House uses more Colombian beans than anyone in America, because better beans make better coffee. Maxwell House, the official coffee of NASCAR. Always good to the last drop.
A noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, a Norse ritual is Right Guard Sports Stick. An aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less will be uncivilized.
Hey, I like to save money as much as the next guy. But what are the odds that there's going to be a sale on the parts you need when your car breaks down? Hey, it's not going to happen. That's why I go to AutoZone. I mean, sure, you can wait around for a couple weeks and maybe beat their price by a few pennies someplace else. But I don't want to wait for a sale when I need a part. Now, what more could you ask for?
Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth right here in the Champion Spark Plug 400 from Michigan International. It's Earnhardt on the high side, Jeff Gordon below him, then Rusty Wallace and Ken Schrader.
They have been going at it for several laps.
Ricky Rudd has come into the pit area. Did he go behind the wall?
No, he went back on the racetrack. He stayed in the pits a couple of laps as they tried to put some water in the car. They did manage to get some water in it. He did go back on the racetrack, but I'm sure he'll have to run at a reduced speed if he's going to finish the race.
So Rudd will not make it 2 in a row here at Michigan.
Now, he lost a couple of laps in the pits, and as Benny said, he probably have to go slow out on the track. So.
There once again are the teammates, the Hendrick teammates running together, Gordon and Schrader.
Comes Dale Jarrett.
Yeah.
Trying to get up in this race. Michael Waltrip, the Benzo up on it because the lap down.
Yeah, he ran out of gas.
That's right.
And that's what got Michael the lap down.
He's 20th, Michael Waltrip is. But running with those in the top 10.
Yeah, his car has run good all along, but the little miscue running out of gas has cost him.
And then they had to push the car. It wasn't just a matter of being able to start it up and drive it away. They had to push the car to get it started. And Earnhardt, his car is hanging in there, currently running third spot. Rusty Wallace is fourth, Jeff Gordon's fifth, and Kenny Schrader sixth.
Dale Earnhardt has not led a lap today. Currently the driver with the most leader lap bonus points with 120. He has led the most laps in 9 of the first 20 races of 1993.
This is not a race for the lead. Mark Martin is a leader, and Morgan Shepherd is in second place, but this is by far the best race on the racetrack.
Boy, it has not been a particularly pleasing weekend there for the car on the bottom side of the racetrack. That's Terry Labonte crashing during his qualifying run, not able to get into the race legally yesterday. Took a provisional. Here is the interval between first and third, Martin and Earnhardt. It's 2.5 seconds.
And no, a driver hasn't been named for that 14 car yet, I don't believe. But we talked about the Kellogg's car, the 14 car.
We believe that John Andretti will be driving the car, however, at Indianapolis tomorrow and Tuesday. We'll see. There is Lake Speed and Sterling Marlin, who you remember quite a while ago were mired back in a big pack of cars, but now they've worked themselves out and are running pretty well.
This is for 10th spot.
I think they might be gaining on that pack of cars we were watching there a little bit ago, but they're still pretty far back behind them. But once they got through some of the other traffic, they are able to pick up a little bit.
And Ernie Irvin directly in front of the 28 car. There he is. We see Ernie in the shot. Looks like that Lake Speed might be gaining on Ernie Irvin.
Yeah, it does. Looks like he's closing in a little bit. Started this race in 24th position. There's Lake Speed, who had problems on a pit stop.
We see Ernie running way high on the racetrack.
He has searched around, Benny. I've been watching him a little bit, and don't think that car is really set up to the best as Ricky Rudd comes back in the pits. It just is not handling. He searched for a place to go on the racetrack that it'll feel good, but I don't think he's found one yet. Still running good, don't get me wrong, but it still is not like we normally see that 4 car.
Now, I was talking with Tony Glover yesterday. We saw in the graphic that this car started 24th. Ernie Irvin, I'm talking about the Kodak Film Chevrolet. And I think Tony said that was the 3rd time that they'd failed to qualify in the top 20, as we see Jeff Gordon trying to get by Rusty Wallace and not able to make the pass. And Ricky Rudd, as we said, he's back in the pits, and Jerry punches down there. Jerry.
Well, they've been trying to bleed some air out of the radiator system, and now Eddie Dickerson and the crew have gone beside him to the Valvoline team. Steve Neal offering him a radiator cap with 29 to 31 pounds pressure on it, so they're putting a different radiator cap on. They have tried to fill it up with water and stop leak. The temperature continues to fluctuate between 210 and 230 degrees. So they have him back on pit road. They're adding more water. They've changed the radiator cap. They don't see any water at all coming out of the left side exhaust pipes, but it is pushing some water out of the car in the overflow going around the racetrack. And so they continue to try to work here and solve the problem. What a tough break for the Tide team.
Battle for ninth here. Lake Speed on the bottom and Ernie Irvin on the top.
Lake Speed is coming back up through the pack. He had a lot of iron to pass after he came out of the pits later, had to go back in, but he's working his way back up there. Couldn't quite make that pass, though.
Looks like he's a little bit faster than Ernie Irvin right now, but it looks like his car needs to run where Ernie is running.
Yeah.
And it makes it very difficult to pass.
Yep, he needs the whole racetrack. Even though this track is very, very wide, we've talked about that so many times, there's still one spot around this racetrack that you can go faster than you can anywhere else. And he needs all of that space. Here he comes again.
Started second, currently 10th. His highest was the lead on lap 20. His lowest position so far has been 20th on the 90th lap. And there his position, as you can see, has changed now to 9th.
And he does take that spot away.
Ted Musgrave would be the next car that he would zero in on.
There's our leader, Mark Martin. You can see why that we were looking at the other races, because he is a good lead over the 21 car.
Yeah, he is all by himself with a comfortable lead on second place, Morgan Shepherd. Back with more from Michigan after this.
Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
The Grand Am's great.
Well, what happened to the Accord?
Yeah.
I found out what the Accord really costs. With air, automatic, anti-lock brakes, $19,500.
Whoa.
Huh? They weren't talking to me.
Really? Wow. The Grand Am, they don't give that away.
Air, automatic, standard anti-lock brakes, $5,000 less than the Accord.
5 less?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you know what that means a month? Got me into a new car.
What are you going to do with the money?
Eat.
As the season winds down, the pennant chase heats up on ESPN. This week on America's Game of the Week, the Braves continue the struggle to stay in contention in the NL West as they face the Reds. Tonight, live on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
Mark Martin enjoys about a 1.5-second interval on Morgan Shepherd. Dale Earnhardt is 3.2 seconds behind. Wallace 3.5, and Jeff Gordon is 3.7 seconds. So some good racing back there for third through fifth as Mark Martin sets the pace here. But again, the thing that we're thinking about is he did this in June, and it ended up that he had to make a pit stop late in the going, and we wonder if that could be the situation here again this afternoon.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I bet those guys in the pits know something about it.
John Kernan, what have you been able to learn about all this?
Well, it does look like Mark Martin will have to make 2 more stops. And talking with Jerry Punch, who's down in his pit, says he'll have to pit about lap 150 and about 196, 195 with about 4 or 5 laps to go. Now, the Wood brothers, they are getting about 50.5 laps, so they will have no problem. They'll pit anywhere between lap 150 153, 155, and they'll be able to go the rest of the way. Jeff Gordon, 51 laps. They pitted on lap 105, so no problems for Gordon or Shepard to go the rest of the way on just one more fuel stop. So these guys down here got their fingers crossed that we don't see any yellow flags between now and the end of the race.
Yeah, that of course will be a very important factor, whether or not there are any more caution flags. If so, it's going to throw the whole thing out the window. But again, looks like it could come down to who has the best fuel mileage.
And we're going to be a tough way to lose 2 races at one racetrack in a year. By the way, we see Mark Martin go by. Steve Meal, the crew chief on Mark Martin's car. I did a radio show with him Wednesday, and his son Wednesday was involved in a wave runner?
Jet ski.
Jet ski. He's 11 years old, Tyler, and either his ski ran over him or another ski ran over him, and I told him he broke his back, and
yeah, he's quite banged up, and
he banged his head up, either concussion, maybe a fracture, but at least a concussion. And Tyler has to be bedridden for about 4 or 5 days. Got to stay in bed, Tyler, watch the race, get you some movies, rent some movies, relax. It'll be okay.
Mind your mommy, your doctors, and your nurses, right? Jeff Bodine has been, well, losing positions in the last few laps.
Maybe sitting down on the inside of the racetrack.
Let's see where he comes up. He's 13th right now.
He's not taking a very aggressive posture going around the racetrack. He's moved over on the inside.
Well, there he moved back up on the outside. Followed Bill Elliott into that turn. Jimmy Spencer went down on the inside there, but Spencer couldn't quite make the pass. As we look out Jeff's windshield there.
Napa field summary. The Bodines running in 13th and 15th.
You see 19 cars are still in the lead lap.
Yeah, so he is taking a more aggressive position now. Watch the car as it bounces on the bumps up in turns 3 and 4 here at Michigan. And here he comes directed towards us.
Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace are 3rd and 4th.
And they're gaining on the second place car, Morgan Shepherd.
Yes,
slowly.
Yep, they sure are. Mark Martin seems to be pulling away a little bit from Morgan Shepherd, but Earnhardt and Rusty are gaining.
Bobby almost crashes.
A couple of cars go by on the inside and almost crashed again.
Man. He's shown 15th, but I think he lost a couple of spots there when he got a little loose.
Let's watch him as he goes down in turn 1. There's Jeff Bodine on the outside of him, and watch as Labonte just gets the car out of shape, almost crashes.
Oh my gosh.
Man, a great job of saving a race car by Bobby Labonte.
That wasn't a rookie save. That was a save of a veteran.
Sure was.
Great job.
Great. Let's take a look at what we project to be the next pit stops for Mark Martin, who was last in on lap 104. We predict he'll be in at 151. Shepard also was in on lap 4. We predict 152. And Earnhardt at 149. Jerry Punch is with Ricky Rudd.
Well, Ricky, you put it behind the wall, but you shook Rick Hendrick's hand with a big smile. It was a rocket while it lasted.
Well, it's awful good to get in a good race car. We haven't had many cars like this year. It's just a shame it was puking water out. I don't know what happened to it, but it drove good in the corners. It ran good down the straightaway, and it was too good to be true. Things were so good, and I could run about 95% of what I could really do and keep the guys behind me. So it's very rare to get a car like that.
Any idea what the problem actually was inside the engine?
Well, I think it's something like a cracked cylinder head. Could be a head gasket. They could fill it with water, and it lasts about 5-10 laps and start blowing all the water out again. So whatever's happening is pressurizing the water system through the motor. So head gas and a cracked head.
Tough break for Ricky Rudd, who dominated the first half of this race here today.
Thank you, Jerry. Here is now Earnhardt and Martin both catching up to Morgan Shepherd. Looking out Morgan's the car toward Earnhardt and Wallace. Dale will go to the inside in the 3rd and 4th turns.
Whoa, boy, that was close. And I tell you what, Rusty Wallace is right directly on Earnhardt's rear bumper, just inches away he was coming off that corner.
There's Rusty right
into his bumper. And Morgan Shepherd is running an entirely different line down in 1 and 2 other than Earnhardt gets a good run on the high side, now pulls alongside Morgan Shepherd.
Oh, I think they touched.
Just a little bit.
Earnhardt goes to second, or does he?
No, here comes Morgan back because Earnhardt needs to be up there, and he's going up there.
Mark Martin leads. Now it's Earnhardt second, Shepherd third, and Rusty Wallace fourth. Mark has led 30 of the 137 laps.
I've been in the car business a long time, and if there's one thing I know, it's that car and truck buyers don't like a lot of baloney, except for lunch. That's why at Williamsburg Ford Lincoln Mercury, we always give a little more for your trade and take a little less for ours. Get a good deal and save a little lettuce on the side.
We'll give a little more, take a little less at Williamsburg Ford Lincoln Mercury.
Your Give a Little dealer in Williamsburg.
Nissan's got another great deal. Now you can get the Nissan Sentra XE 2-door and 4-door limited edition package with air conditioning, AM/FM stereo tape, and cruise control, all for only $99.99, plus freight processing fee, tax, title, and tags. That's $2,000 less than the Toyota Corolla DX. Expect more from a dealership and get more at Hampton Nissan, Virginia's oldest Nissan dealer. Visit Hampton Nissan at 2307 West Mercury Boulevard, Hampton.
Dale Earnhardt just lost a lap. Just as he took second position, the car slowed coming off of corner number 2. He had a flat tire, came in and changed it, rejoins close to where he was running, but a lap down. Jerry Punch was there when Dale came in for the stop.
Had no choice at all, Bob. The right front tire completely flat. Down on the inner liner, they have pulled the tire off as it was possibly rubbing a fender. Now caution is being shown to the field.
Hut Strickland, Jerry, right here in the tri-oval. Rick Wilson also involved. Strickland's car is in the grass just off of corner number 4 in the tri-oval, and he has made contact with the wall because the left front of it is banged up pretty good.
Well, that's a tough break for Dale Earnhardt. The others were going to have to stop within the next 8 to 10 laps for regular pit stops. Now they'll get to do it under caution. He's a lap down.
Now the question is, can any car here run 55 laps?
That's about what they'll have to run once the green comes back out.
Yeah. And this is really a shame because McDonald's, a lot of McDonald's people here today watching Hut Strickland run.
Hut was running in 27th position, a lap down. The spotters, who are perched over here to our left up on top of the main grandstand, are extremely important to the drivers. You just can't imagine how much contact there is and how much conversation between the spotter and the driver, making sure the driver knows exactly what's going on the racetrack.
They're running over to Hut Strickland, but he moving around. It looks he's got the wind on that down, and I think that's the signal. I think the NASCAR has told the drivers, if you're okay, put the wind on that down. We'll know that. And we see Hut bouncing out of the car.
Let's take a look at the schedule coming up here on ESPN the rest of the afternoon and evening. At 3:30, Surfer Magazine. 4 o'clock, the Autolite Nationals NHRA drag race. The Thriftway ATP Tennis at 5 o'clock. Sports Center at 7. Baseball tonight at 7:20. Join us for Major League Baseball and the Atlanta Braves and Cincinnati Reds from Riverfront at 8. And then Sports Center at 11. Once again, those on the lead lap come in for stops. It's lap 142. Mark Martin leads them down. Jerry Punch.
And we'll stack them 3 deep again for you. Ford, Pontiac, and Chevrolet. Mark Martin on top, middle of your screen is Rusty Wallace. And the rookie, Jeff Gordon, getting right side tires on his DuPont Chevrolet. Now left side tires on Mark Martin's Valvoline Ford. Likewise, working on the left side of the other cars. Left side on car number 24. Martin's car is down and away. Here's Rusty Wallace, and Wallace and Martin almost run together down pit road, and they are still door to door, headed back for turn 1 as a drag race down toward the end of pit road.
I hope neither one exceeded the speed limit because they were racing coming down.
I tell you what, can you imagine racing with a speed limit? And that's those guys, they looked like they were trying so hard not to break the speed limit. Let's watch this. The cars will start moving. Here comes Rusty on the outside of the black car, and Martin almost runs into him. Rusty gets off the gas, and now they're racing and can't break the speed limit. And we can see that Mark Martin beat Rusty to the line by just a little bit.
Rusty comes out ahead of him. Mark Martin is just pulling out, and look, takes him over to the left a little bit. Now the line down here at the end of the pit road is the determining factor. Whoever leads across that line is the person that gets to go to the lead on the racetrack. Well, we are under caution now for our 5th time this afternoon. This because of an accident involving Hut Strickland. We'll be right back.
Hey, you know what it takes to get ahead. Performance. You know what it takes to stay on track. Control. You know what it takes to lead the way. So do we. The Grand Am Sport Coupe. V6 performance, the control of anti-lock brakes.